Thank you very much, John. What we're about to share this evening is a gift. It is a gift of giving. It is a gift of receiving. It is an energy exchange between all of us that will promote growth, mutual growth. But we don't have to go far to find growth. Sometimes growth can just find us. And it is at that moment that many times it's a life-changing event. For me, that moment happened about 7 years ago when I observed a 14-year-old boy do an act of kindness that proved to me that acts of kindness and acts of giving are fundamental components of the laws of attraction. Now raise your hands if you've heard about the laws of attraction. I guess the secret's out, right? But many times, what we don't hear is how acts of kindness and giving fit into that realm. We hear about putting out that energetic thought, that positive thought into the universe. And whatever that thought is, it will manifest and it will come back to us in our own reality. Now, when I first heard about the laws of attraction, I said, I'm going to put this to the test. So what I did is I thought, okay, I want a Maserati in my driveway. And lo and behold, a few days later, there was a Maserati in my driveway. It was a guy making a U-turn, but it was still a Maserati. And I forgot the most fundamental principle of the laws of attraction, and that is that thoughts matter, words matter. I should have said my own Maserati. But it's okay. Because one of the things that acts of kindness and acts of giving don't really manifest in our own reality very quickly. This is where we actually start to doubt whether or not those actually fit in the realm of the laws of attraction. And even though the laws of attraction are based on quantum physics, sometimes we don't see that return instantaneous. Yeah, we do see it. Like when we're looking at, for example, in physics, there's the third law of motion from Newton that says for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And that's quantifiable because we see it happen. A rocket lights up, and then it creates enough force underneath and lift, and 8.5 minutes later, astronauts are in space. But we don't see that when we do acts of kindness. And yet every spiritual master that has walked the earth, regardless of faith, have spoken about giving, the virtues of giving, and the benefits we receive from that. But we doubt it because we don't see them coming back as quickly. And I have to admit, I questioned it too, until I saw the act of kindness from that 14-year-old boy. The 14-year-old boy that I'm referring to is my nephew Christopher. He and his sister were visiting us from Florida, and his sister was just under 10 years old at the time. And while they were up here, I figured I might as well take them out and entertain them while they're in Toronto. So I figured, what can I do with kids from Florida? Figured, okay, let me go show them some boats. Kind of made sense to me. So I took them down to the Toronto harbor front, where there were some tall ships that had come into the harbor front. And I went over there and I parked my car very close to Captain John's. I'm sure most of you know where Captain John's is. And as we were walking past Captain John's and past the Westin that was over there, out from the Westin lobby came out a businessman, impeccably dressed in an Armani suit. And as he reached into his pocket to retrieve his cell phone, out onto the floor fell a $50 bill. My nephew Christopher saw that. He went up, he picked up the $50 bill, he went to the man, he tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Sir, you dropped your money." The man looked around and he saw Christopher as if he was from another planet. He managed to utter thank you or something, And he took his money and he left. Now, when I looked over at Christopher, this is the expression that I saw on his face. And I knew what he was thinking. He was thinking, I should have kept that money. But being a good uncle, I went over and I put my hand around his shoulder. And I said to him, buddy, you did well. You did exactly what you should have done. Christopher didn't buy that. So we carried on, and as we were approaching the waterfront, we heard some hurried footsteps from behind, as if somebody was running towards us. And when we looked around, it was the guy. It was the business guy. He came right up to Christopher. He looked him straight in the eye, and he said, son, I'd like to give you this wristband. This is a VIP full access pass to all the tall ships that are here today. And I'm giving you this in remembrance of the act of kindness that you did for me today, and for you to remember to do it for the rest of your life. And with that, he gave Christopher a little tap on the shoulder, and he walked away. Now, when I looked at Christopher this time, this is the expression that I saw on his face. And when he found out that it was worth over $40, he said, sweet. But then he said something that amazed me even more. He said, Theo, which means uncle in Greek, I'd like to share this with my sister. And I said to him, are you sure? And he said, yeah, absolutely. So for the rest of the afternoon, they went hopping on and off tall ships, having a great time. And when the moment came for them to leave, for us to leave, Christopher noticed a little boy that appeared not to have the means to be able to get onto the tall ships. So he ran right over to the boy. He leaned over and he said, this is the wristband for you to get onto the tall ships. From my heart to your heart. At that moment, I got it. That I knew that Christopher also understood what that man was telling him. And later on, when we got home, Christopher went directly to the phone to call his parents. I thought he was going to tell his parents what a great time he had going on and off the tall ships, but no. The only thing Christopher said to his parents that evening was about the act of kindness that he performed and the benefit that he received because of that. But Christopher wasn't the only person that benefited that evening. The man got his money back. Katerina, his sister, got a free pass from him as well. The little boy benefited as well, and who knows how far this went. But Theo Mario benefited too. I ended up saving over $80. Sweet. But that's the ticket. That's the trick. If you want to call it a trick, that is the point behind acts of kindness. It is the mutual benefit that we share with one another. When we put it out into the universe, we will get it back. If we help others, we will get it back. In leadership, those of us who are leadership trainers and leaders understand very clearly that one of the fundamental components of being a leader is being a giver. Giver of your time, giver of your knowledge, helping other people to become leaders. Being willing to share in the success, because they know that when that success, when the team is successful, they too will be successful. It's fundamental, and it applies to everything in our lives that we do every day. Imagine going to work and having a coworker come up and saying, I want to help you to have a better day today. What can I do? Instead of fearing that they're going to take away your job. Imagine a leader coming up to you and saying, I want to train you as a leader so that you too can be like me, a leader. Not trying to take away your credit and trying to overpower you. Imagine that being an environment where you're living in when somebody is paying for a cup of coffee ahead of you in line at Tim Hortons. Imagine the feeling that you're going to get when you actually receive that gift back. Now, you may think when I'm talking like this that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. So I ask you today to join us, and together, we can make John Lennon's dream come true and turn the world as one. From my heart to your heart, everybody. Thank you so much.